And of course I'm trying to do this, it's pouring with rain once again. Never stops, getting beyond the joke at this stage, getting really sick of this. Hello everyone. So it's the morning after, and unlike Ophelia where we had the big build up for days before it happened, Eleanor was really hardly announced here in Ireland. There wasn't much mention of it. It was just like another storm coming, that's it. But it hit Ireland last night and it hit it hard. There was absolutely crazy wind, serious gusts. There was damage done across the country. There were trees taken down. Electricity was off across the country. And obviously it had its impact here. So look, it's what it is. No, there's no damage done to my house, and so I'm very happy with that. This was an experiment. It's obviously failed at this point, so I'm going to take it down and try something else. Probably going to just come up with some kind of a cover to put on and off it, because I can't really waste much more time, money or effort trying to do something like this if it's going to be more storms like this over the next month or so, because this is really unusual for Ireland. We get one of these maybe every couple of years. Now we've had 3 or 4 at this stage this year, between the end of last year and the beginning of this year, 2018. So, you know, I'm not going to waste any more time, money and effort on rebuilding this. I'm just going to take it down, cut my losses, and just come up with another way of working at the boat. That's it. So it's not pretty, but it is functional, and it's covering in the boat, keeping the water out. As you can see, it's pouring rain still, and it's probably going to continue pouring rain for the near future. So I suppose I'm going to have to move on to doing other things, like the rebuilding the rudder, and if I do get dry day, take the cover off the back of the boat and try and do something inside. With the demise of the shelter outside, I've been kind of limited in what I can do with the boat. I did get a shelter cover to put over the boat to keep the weather off of it, but it's not really a shelter that I can work under. I am actually possibly going to get some materials that may mean I can make a structure over the back of the cockpit, which, while not being a shelter, will elevate the cover to the point that I can actually maybe crawl in and out of the boat to get inside and do a bit of work. We'll have to see. That could be a work in progress. It just depends whether I get these materials or not. I'm hoping to get them for free, which means I won't have to spend any more money, which is the only reason I'm even considering doing it. So if that works out, I'll be able to get some work done inside the boat, hopefully. I'm here now today. You probably might hear some ambient noise in the background of a furnace going in the background, which is heating my house. I'm actually in the basement of my house, which is like a workshop sort of area. Now, somebody's probably going to ask this very simple question. Why are you not bringing the boat inside the basement to work on it, Dave? Well, the reason is access. There's space in here to bring the boat in, no problem. But access of getting the boat in is the issue. The way the ground is around the house, I don't have a way to get the boat in. It's hard enough to get it put in the front of the house where it is. Never mind bringing it around and getting in through the back of the house. So that's not going to work. So unfortunately, that would be fantastic because it'd be a great environment to work in, quite comfortable. But it's not going to happen. So what I can do is the other jobs I was talking about doing on the boat, like the rudder and other bits and pieces that I can make outside of the boat, I'm going to do them in here. What I'm going to have a look at doing today is the rudder, disassembling the rudder. The piece of timber that I hope to make the new rudder out is this piece of Iroko timber here. Now it's a piece that's actually been jointed in the centre. It was actually originally made as kind of a bench. I got it on a job I was working on years ago. So I thought it was a nice piece of timber and I'd be able to use it for something. Never knew what it was, and here it is now. This is what I'm going to use it for. So I'm thinking of using this darker piece here. So the width of it is wider than the existing rudder, and it's also obviously a lot longer, which is going to help with the idea I had for increasing the length down and a little bit upward to make where the tiller arm attaches to the rudder a bit higher and a better angle for steering the boat. So this is the piece of timber I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do now is strip the hardware off of the existing rudder and then use this piece to mark out a template on this piece of timber here for the purpose of cutting it out. This, of course, the tiller handle is going to have to be made new anyway. It actually seems to only be a piece of pine. It's all dried out and kind of rotted, so I use a piece of the Iroko for that as well. Alright, so yeah, there's a bushing in there as well, that goes through this piece for the bolt to run in it, so we'll need that too. Alright, so that's the groove in the rudder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm making mine out of a solid piece, so I'm going to cut that groove out, and then I'll obviously treat inside here in the groove with epoxy resin and coat the whole thing in epoxy to give it a bit of a preservative, keep water out of it. So, but it's good that it's in pretty good condition, even though it's a bit dilapidated. I can use it to make a good template, so that makes it easier than trying to just make one from scratch. The metal part of the rudder, a wee bit pitted, a wee bit rusted in places, but just needs to clean it up, that's all. Nothing major wrong with it. Put all these bits into one box. I'll make these again out of a new piece of stuff, but just keep them as a template. That's 230 and 240. So I'm measuring from the 100mm mark to give me a more accurate measurement. So 235. 235. Okay, so that's centred at that. Yeah, so that will give me a bit on the bottom and a bit on the top that I wanted to add on to make the rudder in the horizontal position that little bit deeper to come more in line with the keel to give you better steering than where it is now. So it's, you can see the depth of the rudder plate is going to end up, it's going to be under the water, the whole thing will be under the water with that. So that's what I want. Because if only half it's in the water, it's not going to steer as well as if it's all in the water. And a lot of places where I'm going to be in shallow water, I'm not going to have it drop fully down, so that's the reason. Okay, so and I want to bring the top of this up here to give the better angle on the tiller. So what I'm going to do is put this down the bottom here and mark this part of the bottom first. And then I'm going to move it up the top. So this is going to be sort of an amalgamation of those two measurements. think that looks nicer than the straight line. And then the same thing here. Try and curve it across. And then this mount on here. Maybe even mount it centrally, rather than putting all the torque on one part, maybe mount it centrally like that. Yeah, I think I like that. Yeah, so when that's up against the back of the boat, it's going to be like that, it's almost straight. That's going to accent that curve over. Yeah, so I think we'll go with that. The way it is, that's plenty of timber there. I can always take a bit off it if I want to, depending on how it looks when it's cut out. Yeah, if I get to the point that I can do the bit of epoxy on the back of the boat, and then remount the brackets for this on the transom of the boat, I can try this on, see how it looks, and then see if I need to adjust it then after that. Or even just offer it up on the back of the boat, even without the brackets, just hold it up in place where it's going to sit, without the tiller plate on the bottom of it, because that will be a bit lighter to hold up, and then offer it up and see how it looks. And I might even be able to get the tiller handle out of the offcut of that piece there. Squeeze a wee bit on the blade there. That's it roughed out. Now I've purposely left that a bit wider because the way this is here with these sharp edges on it, what I want to do is round the edges on it. So round the whole thing. Someone made an attempt at rounding this part here for the same reason. But I'm going to try and round shape the whole thing. Okay, I think that'll do for the moment. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.